All right, I think we're live. Hello everyone, welcome back to Chris Warehouse. My name is Brogan, and today, obviously, we're back for another Simple Signal stream, and I'm going to get to spend quite a bit of time talking about some TA, which is rightfully gone completely correct, okay? Done pretty well, okay? We streamed not too long ago, talking about, what we could see, the areas, us breaking into the new range, really, really exciting stuff. Obviously, I didn't stream yesterday, though, because it was still happening within the afternoon in terms of coming down to the significant area, which I said we should probably come down to, and was expecting to come down to, and realistically hoping to come down to, and obviously, lo and behold, we have done so. We're gonna get to all of that very, very soon, and where we can see from here, and what I can expect this, that, the other, once we've now successfully come to this area, which we kind of talked about last stream, 67, 400 area with that green area, talking about the breaker block, coming to test it, and then obviously coming upwards. So going pretty well. Obviously, if you heard last stream, you probably expect what I'm going to be talking about today in terms of our direction, because I talked about it last stream. But we'll get into all that in a second. If you are new to the channel, consider subscribing. Obviously, I want you to enjoy the stream, okay, and experience what it's like to watch one of the streams, and then consider following. But obviously, whatever. All the way down there as well, like the stream. And check the description out. Very, very useful links down there, especially on Binance and YouTube. I think they pretty much have the exact same links. Obviously, the Telegram and the Twitter are probably the most important ones in terms of interacting with us in the community and whatnot. Obviously, Mike's mainly on the Twitter. A lot of unique videos to Twitter as well, and some announcements and many other things. And likewise with the Telegram as well. We're mainly in there if you want to come talk to us. And other than that, I don't think I have much more to say. I think we'll just get straight into it. Again, I always say, oh yeah, please make sure you put coins in the chat. I'll cover them. But realistically, I always just spend way too much time on everything else to actually go through those coins. So I would say put your coins in the chat. I'm probably not going to be running out of time by the end of this, so I'm just going to be doing my normal, Bitcoin and whatnot. But anyway, let's look at the price. 67,333 as we speak right now. Let me refresh it to make sure we are the latest. Yeah, so 67,333. A very neutral movement. You can see the 1 hour 0.3, 0.03 even, 24 hour 0.06, obviously 7 day 0.5. Obviously, you can go up and then go down again, and it looked like you haven't moved because of the percentages are only. It doesn't give the movement. It just gives where you are relative to the previous prices of the 7 day and 24 hour. But you can see on the right hand side on the 7 day, you can see we haven't really moved too much, especially in this the latest part here. We've not really moved crazy or anything. Obviously, we've had a big dump, which obviously is the aspect which is giving us this 0.07 24-hour movement and the 0.5% move 7 day, because it's kind of equated from our pump to where we are now, because we've come pretty much all the way down again. So obviously it doesn't look like we've moved much, but we are still, it's not a bad thing. Currently where we are right now, looking at the percentages, looking at the overall movement of Bitcoin just based on percentages, it's not a bad thing. Obviously we'll get into it when we get onto the charts in a minute. Ethereum 2,620, pretty good. Obviously that has had a retracement as well. Likewise with Bitcoin and majority of other things. Obviously Solana's actually had its rise up, which is good. Obviously I've talked about this before in terms of the situational charts we've had, especially with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. They've all been in different scenarios when we've looked at them. Ethereum was fighting at a different range. Bitcoin was, trying to get back above an equilibrium, and Solana was currently staying at equilibrium. So to see that we're still 1.2% up on the 24-hour, 8% set up 7 day, and we're up right now on the 1 hour isn't a surprise to me, because obviously we've talked about this already. At the fact that we're at equilibrium already and we're already at support points, and how different Solana was to previous coins. But we're actually at 167 now, which is interesting, because 160 to 165, we had a rejection block in that area. So really interesting to see we're there now. Really good movement for Solana. Pretty rapid. So I'm glad to see that. Obviously we'll get into where we see that going, from there. But you can see we've had 2 equal highs. I could only assume the 2 highs we've had have been at the rejection block. So I guess we'll just wait to see when we get to that chart in obviously 50 minutes, because I spend 49 minutes on Bitcoin, 30 seconds on Ethereum, and then a bit on Solana. So anyway, whatever. In regards to, I don't really check who's really won. PopCap, very nice. Obviously, if you want to know any cool coins or anything to look out for in the, in the crypto space, which you might not know before, obviously top right, you may see some logos. I believe we do have things in the description. If it's not on Binance, it is on YouTube. So, if you are missing out, on Binance. And again, actually, I should actually say this in the intro because I don't really spend too much time on the Binance chat because it is a pile of trash over there. The chat is awful. So if you do want to actually really, get the majority of your chat, read and, acknowledged, I would recommend going over to YouTube. And obviously while you're there, consider subscribing and whatnot. It would help the channel. We're doing our Halloween stream soon, obviously. Hopefully everyone's excited for that. We are doing an AMA on Friday because we have, it's actually a game. We're actually doing AMA on a game. Okay, so obviously, if you do want to get involved in any of that stuff, do go to the Telegram because we are going to be saying some links. It is a game where you actually get to, play the game, and we're actually going to do a little thing within the AMA where I'm going to play the game, and we hope to get some people in the community to actually come and join me because it's basically like Fall Guys. Obviously, if any of you guys played that game before, whatever. But you kind of join up. It's kind of a cooperative game where you can join. So we're trying to get some links sent over to Telegram so you guys can download it and we can play on the stream. When we do the AMA, so that's in the horizon as well for the next coming streams. And obviously we do have the Halloween streams coming up soon, so that's gonna be good. We're gonna get some masks. We're gonna get this, that, the other. Hopefully we can get like a wolf mask or something in whatever. I'm not doing anything with like a cat stuff. We're doing wolf stuff or whatever we're gonna get. Whatever we can find basically. But anyway, if you do want to get involved in any of that, I would recommend going over to YouTube and doing that thing. But I do have the Binance chat open, which I will quickly read now. I will go to YouTube as well. But yeah, I'm looking at the Binance chat. Not really much going on there. Yeah, not really much going on. I'll leave it. I will go to YouTube though, because there have been some chats. I'll read from the top because obviously I have missed it since starting the stream. So what do we have? Kishan. Again, no surprise here. Kishan, obviously, he gets it. I don't know how he does it. All right, it's like he watches. He pries on the live section of our channel, and just whenever we put a stream live and ready, he just says, "Yo, what's going on?" So shout out to Kishan. And all of you guys, honestly, anyone who's here, you're obviously regulars. You guys are the ghosts. Simply, all right, you know this. Okay, I don't need to say it all the time. I need to get like a soundboard to say it. But Mags is here. Shout out to you, Mags. I'm sure Brogan has interesting things to show us. It's going to be a great stream. Yeah, I mean, we do have some interesting things. Okay, obviously, the interesting things I showed. Was it Friday I did my last stream? It wasn't Monday. I think it was Friday. What my last stream was. Or I think it was. Yeah, I can't see it being any other date, so I think it's Friday. So yeah, obviously we had interesting things on Friday. We will see the outcomes of those interesting things from the last stream, whenever it was, and obviously we'll show some interesting things as we go into this stream. Seeing what we've got going on. Oracle Rocks, shout out to Chan. Thank you, man. KB is here as well. Evening to you. Belt Rope, Hidden Agendas. Scroll a little bit more. That's it, pretty much. But shout out to you guys. Let me move the chat out of the way of my screen. There we go. Yeah, so those some percentages, just quick looking at wins and losers. I just want to see what's going on. Apecoin, yeah, whatever. I don't really care. I mean, I care only about Bitcoin, Solana. Speaking of which, let's get into actually the TA, okay, of the stream. Because I'm interested to see what's going on. Actually, I'm gonna move this purple thing because I just want to see the. I was just drawing it. It's previous to this dump towards this breaker block which we had of great importance. So this very good, interesting, very cool. Very awesome. I said this when we had it drawn. Yeah, so you can see this was formed Thursday time. So I think my stream was Friday over here, coming into. It was actually here. So streamed here. Talked about what we had going on with some support and resistance. Obviously, we had this little mini order block here on. I think actually I don't know if it's order block or breaker block on a different range. You obviously can see support, resistance. A bit of support there coming up, obviously flipping it now to resistance. But again, it's not a range, it's not in anything specific, so it's not really going to be too strong. We do have this, which we had of support, which is actually, it was something interesting on a different range. I think it was an expansion line on a different range. I think it was on like a really high time frame actually. What was it again? I can't remember. This line, this 68, it was really, it's an important line. I can't remember why. No, I can't remember why, but I can't find the range to say why. It was something interesting. I can't find it there. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It was something interesting, but regardless from that, we also have this. It was not another. I think it was on like 30 minutes. It was a lower time frame one, so obviously it's not gonna be as strong. So obviously it's a lower time frame, but it was something there anyway, which obviously we found support at regardless, and then obviously flipped it, and then found resistance here. But again, this is breaker block. In this area, so you can see it was resistance, which we obviously then flipped to support, but we have now flipped it again to resistance. But considering the fact you can see there's an intermediary one as well in the middle, which goes from black to white, so it's kind of this kind of hard area. this was drawn outside of the stream, so it wasn't anything too significant. I just wanted to see if we had this bounce based on this order block or not. It was just something to draw. But again, it's on the 30-minute, and you know, it's in this, like, you know, you can see you know, a red candle, green candle, and a red candle again. It was kind of in a messy area. It wasn't really too strong, so I didn't, like, you know, come running to the Telegram to go, oh my god, there's this, you know, rejection block here which we're going to hold as support, it's going to be great, type of thing. So I just wanted to draw it. Obviously this range as well, but in terms of coming from the TA we had since last stream to basically, you know, now time, you know, having this whole area, I just wanted to see what's going on. So obviously I drew this outside of the range because I wanted to see it going on. But basically we obviously we came into this middle area of the equilibrium, obviously remembering that the entire range of this, from the 2 blue to the red as well, this whole thing's basically equilibrium. So obviously came to the midpoint of this, came down, found support, this breaker block here, order block, you know, potential wherever it was from, and then came back up again, had another ride all the way up to bounce exactly off of 69, basically 69,487. Obviously the highest point being the things in the way, hold on, 69,545. So a bit of a, like, you know, a couple dollars up, not a couple dollars, like $40 up from the top, or actually 60, saying the 47 or 53, whatever it's going to be. But you know, a $50-ish padding on top of this wick. But basically you can see a consistent bounce, especially on this candle here, from where this highest candle body is. So not this big wick, but looking from, you know, where this high candle is, the wick all the way up to basically sitting exactly at 69.47 or 487, where it was exactly. So good respect of that line here. So really good that we found this resistance here, found support again, found resistance at this blue line, basically showing that we, you know, proceeded further into the equilibrium, try and break back above, and then obviously candle body sitting roughly trying to break above this red line, basically the middle, the mini area of the equilibrium. Obviously if we draw the higher range, you can see exactly where we are, which obviously is interesting. Again, I pointed this out on Monday as well, the fact that, you know, on 6561, which is the main range we use, or I use on my stream, which I do on my TA on where I do these streams, but the higher range does have this equilibrium. So again, remember, the 6561, this is the main equilibrium which we've pretty much looked at. If we go to the higher range, you can see these red lines actually sit within the exact same area, which is obviously the point of being, we have these equilibriums which sit at different areas. And obviously you can see, if we follow that kind of ideology along, you know, in theory, obviously you can do it subsequently for every single line. So like technically, you know, a big range somewhere is going to be something else's, or some range else's, what am I saying? There's a different range's equilibrium. You know what I'm saying? So you can do different lines which have different kind of, you know, expansions. But when you look on certain time frames, you don't really want to be doing too high, because it then doesn't really apply on this sort of time frame. So on the 1 hour, 4 hour daily, you know, it doesn't really get to that point where you want to be looking at, you know, this area being equilibrium, you know, coming in between 64.7 and 73k. You know, technically you can see, oh, we bounced into here. So if we go to the free, if we go to here, for example, you can see, oh, well, look, you know, this whole area between 72 and whatever the hell, you can see we've bounced into it, came down, bounced into it, came down, bounced into it, came down, bouncing into it again. We're finding resistance in this area. You know, technically on a different range, that is going to be an equilibrium, but it just gets to that point where within our scope, which is on the 1 hour, the 4 hour, whatever it's going to be, it just doesn't really get to that, you know, that stage where we want to be looking at that. But, you know, going back to my point, you know, the higher range upwards, we can be looking at those. So obviously 6561, the 19863 in this case, you know, we can see that it does respect it relatively well on these time frames which you already look at. So you can see on the 4 hour, if we look, you know, we can see we come into it, found resistance at this red line, came down, finding support roughly at this area, obviously dipping into this breaker block area, forming this breaker block, which is really good. So a whole lot of really good respecting here. So, you know, these candles fitting into breaker block area, which form an order block, which then gets immediately flipped to be a breaker block, found support, which is where we are right now, which is, again, my main point which I'm talking about, which I talked about on Friday, which was this main breaker block being used as support. We had to come back down to test it, on the higher time frames anyway, and that the fact that it was on the higher time frames, we are still staying within equilibrium. So the fact that we're down here, I'm not worried in the slightest. I'm not concerned. You know, oh, we have had this, because to 1 hour, these massive candles, or because of the daily, this massive candle down of rejection. Yeah, you can see on the candle bodies, you can see we've come into the midpoint and then come right back down, finding the resistance at this area on the 19863, whatever the hell we're on. So you can see, you know, this rough respect on this midpoint. But again, That's the daily. It's a higher time frame, but it doesn't really matter, you know, because I'm really looking at the 4 hour and the 1 hour when I look at these, you know, this price action basically. So the main key areas I looked at in this area was the fact that we're staying above 67,120 pretty accurately. The fact, obviously, on the higher range we have 70,660, but the main one was in between 68,307 and 69,487. This whole area, was where we're going to see our difficulty, which obviously we did see our difficulty, which has preceded this come down. But again, my main point, which I'm making again now since Friday, was that we found this support point and the fact that we are still in equilibrium on the general range. So again, coming to the 1 hour, you don't really want to use this high range on the 1 hour. It gets a bit messy if we zoom out. But you can go on the daily with this range, you can go on the 4 hour of this range, and it still works. So on the higher time frames, to use it as respect, because once you start getting, to the higher time frames, it gets, or on the lower time frames, it gets a bit messy. You can apply it to the higher time frames. Wherever it looks the best, you can really apply it. Not saying you can't apply these ranges to different time frames. It's a bit better representation on the daily, for example. But you can see on these time frames, especially on the daily, that as we see it right now, this is the equilibrium. We've come into it. We've found midpoint, and we're coming back down now to find support at 67. So even though I've said the same thing over and over again, but even on the lower time frames, it may look like we're doing some dodgy stuff. On the higher time frames, on the grander scope, all we've really done on the daily is come to midpoint of this equilibrium, and we've start to come back down to this midpoint to find support within our candle bodies. Again, we've wicked below. We had this low at 66.665. And obviously we've kind of wicked below it at 66.568 and kind of sweeps it, and then we'll come back up. So again, the candle wicks are starting to, they do kind of range a tiny bit outwards here and there. But on the grand scheme of things, you're mainly looking at these lines, and you're mainly looking at the candle bodies, because obviously you want to print outside. But if you've got a wick, you don't really look at the wicks, you look at the candle bodies. So in terms of that, we haven't printed outside of the equilibrium yet. We've come to midpoint, and then we've come down to the bottom area, which again is 67.1, basically 120, and we're printing at the bottom area. So this is good. This is still good. We're still in this range. We're still in the winnings. We still have potential to have midpoint bounce off here, proceeding to 70,663. Maybe even we could come back down to maybe either 69.5, which was the previous range's high, as you can see here, or we could come as high as this area here. Maybe we could see a bounce off of the resistance, if you know what I mean. So we could do something like that as we proceed. This would be really good TA if we did that, and then found support hopefully at 70,600 and whatever the hell, and then proceed onwards. But again, this is the daily. On the 4 hour, on the lower time frames, we're looking at this lower range, which in respect to what we have currently, we have to come towards 69,479, wherever it was exactly, 487, and bounce off of it. That's what we need to do. I'm just checking this is the right line actually. Yeah, I think this is 487. Let me zoom back. Yeah, it's 481 actually. It's not 487. I don't know why I have these wrong actually. Basically 480 kinda. So it's 68.3 to 68, 69.480. So actually slightly a bit nicer, cleaner. But anyways, regardless, this range is what we're respecting on the lower range. So as we see on the 4 on the 1 hour instead of the daily, this is our current scenario. So it might look a bit scary, it might look a bit messier, but as a grand scheme of things, we're still in a good situation. And again, to reiterate on this green area, we are still in a good position, staying above. You can see this is the 4 hour, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got 8 4-hour candles printing above the dotted line. Obviously, we've got wicks down. We've wicked towards the exact bottom, which is 66,860. We wicked as low as these lows, which we saw back here, and swept them at 66,5, 60, wherever it was. But we're looking at the prints, and as I see it right now, we have multiple candle prints above this dotted line. And it's a pretty hard wall as well. You can see it's a really hard stop, like a concrete stop at this area. So it's looking pretty good so far to stay above this range and have our bounce off of this range and come back upwards. So as I see it right now, good action here. Obviously came below. Obviously this was our low. So unless we do some sort of resistance or find some sort of resistance at this area at 68 and then come down again to 66 and whatnot, obviously that could hurt. But again, respecting on the hard time frame, especially looking at the daily, it doesn't show that. Again, we're going to see, more intricate price. I don't know what's going on with my phone. I'm going to mute it quickly. It's vibrating constantly. There we go. So, yeah, on the 4 hour, it may look like, obviously, we're having this come down. But again, on the daily, even though, you know, obviously we're going to have a lot less daily candles than 4 hour candles, that makes sense because we've only spent a certain amount of time in this range. However, on the daily, it's still looking good. I'm still confident in this based on, you know, the equilibrium on the higher range we have coming to bounce off of this range at, you know, 67,125 to 70,660. So as I see it on the daily, I think we're just having this. We've bounced off midpoint. We're coming down to the bottom, and we're going to do a new high. So on the daily, we haven't really done that lower low yet. I think this is going to be our low, and then come back upwards towards 69.5, coming back upwards towards this top of the range. I think we're going to see that again. So even on the 4 hour, it may look like if we did a lower high, it would look like we're shifting gears and we're starting to come down again. But I don't think so. I think we're going to see our higher high again. I think this is going to be our lower low, or in this case, this is going to be our higher low on the daily. I think we're going to see our higher low, and we're going to bounce and come back upwards again towards 70,000 and whatnot, coming up to this area. I don't know why 72 is there. I think my chart's a bit messed up. I don't know why this is down here. Oh, this is the top of the range. That's why. Is it? Or it's the bottom line. Why do I have this drawn? Oh, because it's the top of the range. Right, okay, that makes sense. Sometimes I just have things wrong. I don't really know why. But anyway, yeah, I think that's what we have so far on the daily, looking at it. Okay. So that's kind of the TA we have done so far. Again, I've already really looked at what we see in, coming up. But that's what I see so far. So let me go back to the lower range and go down. So yeah, like I said, we do have this, potential for difficulty as we come into it. Coming down lower. Let me see this quickly. Unless price can reclaim and hold 68.3, then I still think we can trade lower. Absolutely, yeah. Exactly what I just said on the 4 hour. This is, we've had these highs and lows coming upwards, and now we've surpassed this low. So unless exactly what you just said, unless we can reclaim this 68.3, then that would just be okay. Either we bounce off of 68.3 or we come above it and hold it. That would be our high until we come down again. Because obviously this is our low, lower than this low. Let me do this big line actually, so it's a bit easier. This is our previous. This is our highest low. This is our last low basically. And now we've come down. This is looking like our next low, which is lower than this low. So if we do a lower high, then in theory, obviously we've done high low, high low, high high, whatever. And then we put a lower low and a lower high in. Then it would make sense to say we would be coming down all the way to here. Absolutely. Let me delete this quickly. So yeah, so in terms of what you said, this is our bounce, unless we can reclaim 68.3, which is exactly what I have with this order block, which would be our bounce for our lower high coming down again, unless we can reclaim it and maybe have a bounce and then come upwards. Absolutely, which would then also be for me equilibrium. So 68.3, exactly like I said, is our equilibrium. So again, coming into it to hold it, I completely agree. But again, on the higher range, and we've had plenty of times where we've respected stuff on the higher ranges. Like, for example, coming back down here, I believe one of these order blocks down here was something which was formed on the higher range and not a lower range, and we still respected it. So I'm just keeping it open. If I was to only look at the 4 hour and only look at 6561, or my only range we always use, if I was to only look at this, I would say the exact same thing you said. I would completely agree. I would want to be careful. Okay, I think the key point, a key takeaway would be trying to get back above into equilibrium and getting it back above this low and not forming a situation where we're going to do another, lower high. But again, it would be, you'd have to kind of do this, you'd have to come above this high here. So it's tricky. But again, I think I want to also pay attention to the higher time frame on here, which is here. Again, we haven't printed, again, it does matter, to be fair, if within the next 4 hours and 35 minutes on the daily, if we see this bounce off of 67,135, whatever it is down here for this low, if we have this bounce and we start to come upwards in the next day or two, and again, that would be us kind of crabbing a bit and coming upwards again, which would be us forming our high. So unless we do something like this on the daily, I still think it's something like this. I still think this was our high, this is our low. So because like looking at the previous action, obviously we had this period where we had this is our high, this is our low, come up, this is our high, this is our low. So I think we're still in this period where we're doing this, and I think we should be coming upwards again. I think instead of it being something where we find resistance at 69,481 and then come down again to support and then find resistance again, do some sort of higher high or equal high thing and then come down again. there's potential for that. That is true. You know, if we see it, you can see like if we go from our low to this high, if we have a double high here, we could come all the way back down to our previous low. So okay, I know some people are talking about 63.5 or something like that, or I can't remember exactly what it was, 65. I can't remember exactly what some people were talking about, but I think if we had something like that, it could be even worse, where we see, if we did see like an equal high, because again, bear in mind, this is equilibrium. You know, this isn't an easy area to be in. You know, this is difficult area. This is one of the most difficult areas to be in terms of the cycle of price action, where you either in the premium, you're in the discount, or you're in equilibrium. Equilibrium is the tightest area. It's the most difficult area. It's the most kind of pivotal area to be in, whether you're going to see, you know, 69.5 all the way back up to 72k, or even in this case 78k coming upwards, and whatnot, or on the lower time frame 72k, or you're going to come all the way back down and see 59k, wherever it is. So again, these are pivotal areas. These aren't easy areas. You know, these are the most critical areas to keep your playbook open, type of thing, where you can see, you know, crazy thing happen. But unless we just have this crazy, you know, boom, you know, we just see a normal bounce, you know, unless we just see this bounce, you know, it's going to be, you know, whatever. But I want to see what happens in this daily print. You know, I want to see if we hold this 67.1 area, basically. But again, going back to my point, on the 4 hour, I completely agree in the fact that if we don't flip into equilibrium again, because remember, again, I always say this, you know, these ranges are fractal, you know, the equilibriums go lower, but are respected as you kind of zoom out. I've explained that horribly, but you know, if I show this again, you know, this is equilibrium, but then obviously if I go out, these lines are identical here, where if I unhide, or if I had that, you can see, you know, this is where equilibrium is in this area. So if you look on the 4 hour, you know, good bounce, but on the grander range, the entire thing's equilibrium. So not only is it being, oh, on 6561, we're just bouncing off this arbitrary line, it's actually a lot more important than that on the higher range, where it's, you know, we've got into equilibrium, tried to, you know, bounced, found resistance, came down again, found resistance on the outer rim, and now it's, are we going to be able to get back above equilibrium, or are we going to see a lower low again, or lower high, sorry, and then come down again? So yeah, I completely agree with, if we don't see us get back above 68.3, if I see a clear cut bounce off 68.3 and then continue back down towards 67, I'm in the same boat as you. I'm definitely thinking we're coming down, and you know, unless we have some sort of, you know, this is our bottom, this is our high, unless we have some sort of equal low where it equals out and brings us back up towards 69, unless we have something like that, then yeah, I could definitely see this be our difficult situation and scenario, where we come even lower, coming back towards this rejection block. And again, remember, I said this on Friday as well, if we don't hold this breaker block, which again, it is a negative order block, so it is going to be true to hold as a good support point. And I said this on Friday as well, because I know there's a lot of negativity on Friday as well. We were in a positive scenario. I was negative. I think a lot of people were negative because of how high we came. I know there was tons of negativity, because again, I'm referring back to the point where everyone was talking about, or not everyone, but a lot of people were talking about coming back down to 65, you know, 66, whatever it was. I think some people had 64.5, or some range like that. But you know, at the time I was saying on Friday, this is a breaker block. This is going to be good support. This should be good support. So I'm waiting on that, which obviously, lo and behold, we have done properly. So unless we have this like double bottom and we continue to hold this as support and then come back upwards, we'd have an equal low scenario where where in theory we should come back up into 69k and hold equilibrium, which on the daily wouldn't look like anything, because it's the daily. There's like, it denoises everything on the daily. So in that scenario, if we were to have that, which is, you know, more than valid, then it would just be a normal bounce off of 67.1, coming back upwards towards 69.5 and whatnot, coming upwards again. So yeah, if we don't break 68.3, unless we do some sort of, I'm trying to cope here in a bit, you know, unless we do some sort of equal low, we should in theory see a bit more downwards movement for Bitcoin. But again, going back to another thing I said on Friday was, even if we don't fully hold all of this we have above us, which is quite grand, I said it on Friday, we have a lot of support. We have, you know, the equilibrium outer rim at like 67.1. We have the order block, breaker block thing, which flipped. We also have the top here, which obviously we broke down, which is 68.3. We've got a lot keeping us up, but you know, as a worst case scenario, we still do have this rejection block, which was oh so difficult. You know, or I think it's actually an order block. I'm not sure exactly what I had it drawn as, but this was difficult. You know, this is very difficult. This was a difficult area. We formed it, found resistance, went into it, and then had massive dump, came into it. Once we came into it, look at that massive candle downwards. The only reason we properly came back upwards again was the fact that we fulfilled this fair value gap and then came upwards again. So I think this is going to be good support as well at 66 area, 66.3, whatever it is. So even if we do have worst case scenario, which we do break below equilibrium and whatnot, I think the next point would be 66.3. But again, consider, I'm going to probably move on now to Ethereum Solana, but consider what I've already said and weigh that up is what I'd say. But also, if you were someone who took that trade, actually, what time was it? I think it was like, it was 10 o'clock. I think we were here. So obviously we had that. Yeah, I think, what did I say about the trade? I think I said, keep a lenient, it was actually pretty good there. I said, keep a lenient stop loss because it could go back up towards 69.5. But I think we should see 67 too. For either, well, that would have been a good trade. I think I drew it as that's the wrong one. I think we were down here at the time. I think I said keep a lenient stop loss. I think the low should be either 1.5% or 2%. So yeah, would have, pretty good. I know Kishan did a good trade as well. Actually, I'm going to read the chat. I see a lot of people talking about it, and they're talking in the chat. A Mercy received. Bitcoin is done. It was a good run. Only 3.5 years till we do it again. Do you think this is the end of this run? Okay. Yeah, sure. Sell now. Yeah, I completely agree. Sell now. This is a horrible time to get in. Yeah, I think this is our high. This is our high. I think Bitcoin, like we were just talking about then, 68.3. I think that's where I think we're gonna bounce off 68.3. I think from there we might see 45k. I remember we were talking about that last time. I think 45k is the next one in. So I think I think you should sell now. It's a horrible time to get in Bitcoin. I think this is the only situation where you get any sort of wealth out of Bitcoin. I think you sell right now, get out, and never come back. Is what I'd say to you. What was your name again? Scroll down. A Mercy received. Yeah, I'd sell. Just leave crypto, bro. It's over for you. It's over. Yeah, it's horrible. It's terrible. Why would you even get Bitcoin right now? It's actually probably stupid to stay in for you. Not for everyone else. I think for Mercy. In this case, get out. Bitcoin's done next. Or yeah, we're not end. We're not at the end. No. Yeah. Again, for the rest of you in the chat, yeah, keep going. Obviously, for that guy, yeah. Read the balance chat. I'm gonna read the balance chat. Actually, that's crazy to say because there's so much spam in here, but it's not looking that bad. Is gold sell? I haven't looked at gold in my entire lifetime. So I think I don't like sending people away from the channel because obviously I want to make sure everyone can have as much, enjoyment and try and ask as much as they can from the stream. But I don't look at gold. I look at crypto. I could probably look at gold. I could probably make a little chart for gold, but yeah, I don't look at a chart. I don't look at gold. Sorry. You have to go somewhere else for that. But if you have anything else crypto related, you can come back. Absolutely. Maybe spend 10 minutes. Go find someone who's doing gold. Spend 10 minutes over there. Figure it out. Come back. That's what I'd say. C4D51, very nice live. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, let me move the chat that way so I can actually continue doing the stream. Okay, why is my light's not working? I look like I'm in a cave. It doesn't really matter, does it? Yeah, so that's what I think. In terms of our bounce, my hope is, and my assumption, X Series Gold. Yeah, I know. I'm not gonna look at that. I really can't be bothered. Is that we're gonna hold this breaker block, have this bounce, continue onwards. Nothing ever happened. Bish bash bosh. Sorted. If we do have this lower high, it's looking bleak. But again, that's a directional thing. I think there's two spheres when you look at charts. Is you've got your directions, you've got your positions. I think, in terms of looking at price action and market structure, in terms of higher highs, higher lows, or lower highs, lower lows, this, that, the other, that's very directional. Cool, it's sorted. But I think it doesn't really talk upon the whole sphere of like positional. And I think this is going to be a very strong support area. You know, consider what we've already done right now. I think this is going to be very strong. Again, I think it's on both ranges we use. You know, this big one and the little one. It's both contained within breaker block area. So I think this is going to be a good support area. It's going to be a strong support area. There's always potential to flip things. So I never want to full pour into a singular idea or method or direction we're going to go in. But I think this is going to be strong support. Not only that, but we do have 67, 120. I think it's going to be great support as well. So in terms of direction, yes, if we do this lower high, I think it's going to be pretty negative. I definitely think we should see more downwards movement from this bounce. Again, if we're bouncing, we're going to see downwards movement. So I'm just saying nothing there really. But I do think it's like a piled up. It's 67, 120 and 67, 186. You know, and so on and so forth. You know, it's a whole thing right here, right now. So, yes, but I think we hold it. I hope we hold it. Again, I might be coping here. I might be shrouded by the hope of money and success. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to move on now to Ethereum because I think I've said my piece. What's Ethereum doing? Let's have a look. Okay, so I don't know what the last thing we said was. When did I draw this? Let's see. Friday. Yeah, that was actually not done. That's crazy. You know what? That's a crazy moving upwards, actually. Let me shim this across. So what do we see? I thought we were going to see resistance at this area, which we were seeing at the time. And then had two massive candles, majoritively equating to a nearly 4.5% move upwards, which is actually nice. Okay, actually, what range are we in? Well, we're holding equilibrium now, which is really nicely, or really nice. Breaker block. I think this is a breaker block. Actually, wait. Ah, what am I doing? Did I seriously draw a short from a breaker block? What am I doing? And then we didn't even hold it. That's a mess. You know what? That's a mess. I'm not gonna lie. That is a mess of a situation to be in right there. Because this is a breaker block in a breaker block. Let me see what the short range is saying, actually. Which I actually don't have drawn, which is crazy. So let me just go back to the higher range because it actually, you know, fills up the entire thing. So what do we see? So a breaker block. I don't know why I said we should see resistance at the breaker block because it's a breaker block. We flipped the breaker block, or we flipped the order block as we should have. And then we didn't hold it because we saw the dump as we did with Bitcoin and so on and so forth. Coming right back towards this breaker block, which we're using as support again. So this was good. This is good. This wasn't very good. This wasn't very good at all. If we go to the higher time frame, what do we see? We formed it, flipped it, resistance, or flipped it, resistance, tried to flip it, resistance again. So what do we see? Actually, we have another one here coming in right here. Go to the rectangle. There we go. We've got something else going on, which is also a negative order block, going to be a positive breakout block, which actually comes into 2,700 this time as well. So that's going to be pretty good to look for. This wasn't a very good trade. I don't know why I drew a stop loss being in the breaker block, which is pretty strange of me to do. Yes, you can see. So looking back on it, because it's never actually really been held properly. You know, you can see we tried to flip it, failed. Resistance. Tried to flip it, never came back to it, failed. Is that what we did here? Maybe that's what we did, actually. Arguably, but not really. You know, it's like, you know, we flipped it and then came up to here. You know, we flipped it, support. Damn, that's crazy. Yeah, again, I said this on Bitcoin as well, like, with breaker blocks, again, nothing's ever perfect. You can flip breaker blocks, even when they're in good scenario. So this was, you know, this was good scenario. You know, we did flip it, we did find support, we did continue onwards, but then we never, you know, we didn't come back to it. And again, considering what we had for Bitcoin, all we had with like the general market as well, was that bounce off of 695, coming down again with that massive dump, which, you know, broke us back through this breaker block, which wasn't very good. Yeah, at the time, you know, as I drew this, you can see this resistance, and then kind of held it down here, which is going well. But we had this massive support down here. I don't know why I drew this. This is a very bad trade. Obviously, again, I always say nothing's financial advice. Yeah, for a very good reason, because we do have these two order blocks to breaker blocks here. one here and one here on the higher time frame, because it's on the 1 hour. And yeah, you can see, on the general TA, you can see like we formed it, flipped it, support, flip, support. But then again, you can see we're kind of hovering now. But on the general TA, we go to the 4 hour, where we mainly have our TA. If we shimmy that backwards again, yeah, you can see it, whatever, cool, flipped it. We found support in this area when we were using the breaker block, but again, massive dump, which actually broke us back down to now use it as an order block. And then now we have support in this. You can see negative order block. We flipped it, use it support here really nicely, and now we're using it as support again, very similar to Bitcoin. And again, very different scenarios as well. This is equilibrium. This is support as well. So not only, again, very similar to Bitcoin, different scenarios though, because in this case with Ethereum we're above equilibrium, but with Bitcoin we're below equilibrium. But we actually we have a breaker block in a position of equilibrium, very similar to Bitcoin, where we have the outer rim of the higher range equilibrium also sitting within the breaker block. So very similar scenarios. So I think very good support here, not only from this high at 2,608, we also have the midpoint at 2,613 and whatever here. So very good bounce off here. I think we're going to have, obviously we do have this daily order block, which is also going to be, it is within breaker block, so we're probably going to see this be flipped eventually, but we're probably going to see this resistance. So what I could see happening is we formed it, we're going to flip it, we're going to come into, maybe 2,700 area, and then come down again, find support. We're going to have this double bottom scenario, not only flipping this breaker block, this daily breaker block as well, which they're all this daily order block and 4 hour order block, which then allows us to use both of them as support and then continue onwards. So I think we're going to flip this eventually and continue onwards. But again, it does depend on what Bitcoin does. Bitcoin's doing its 68 free bounce, and then we actually do start to break below 67.2 or 67.120, sorry. If we actually start to see 66 free at the rejection block, then we could probably definitely see this rejection block down here at 2,550 coming back into equilibrium. But, again, the Bitcoin versus Ethereum Solana situations are very different. So it's going to be different in the fact that we're going to see different ways of the price playing out. So for example, with Ethereum, we're definitely going to see support in this equilibrium, pretty much, not guaranteed, but pretty exact, because again, this is massive. This is a massive area to pay attention to. But with Ethereum, with Bitcoin, sorry, we are below equilibrium, so it's going to be a bit difficult. Solana, again, we're going to get on Solana. I think we are also above equilibrium, so I think it's a bit different. I think we're actually pretty exactly at equilibrium, but again, I'm going to have a look. Oh no, I think we broke above equilibrium and then continued onwards. I think we're at rejection block now, but we're going to get onto it. But as I see it right now, we are at this breaker block. Very good support here. Probably continue downwards a bit more to 2,613. I don't think we're out the woods yet. But yeah, I think that's what I see so far. I've still been meaning to redraw these Ethereum ranges, because the 243 and the 729, they don't actually line up. I think I've drawn them wrong. So I think my judgment's been skewed a bit, which I'm going to look at. But yeah, so already kind of talked about what we already have so far. Coming into with Ethereum, what I see going forward, let's pay attention to what we've looked at for Bitcoin, which is we are at the support point, expecting the bounce. I think the exact same thing for Ethereum. We're at the support point with equilibrium, expecting this bounce back up. So I definitely think we're going to start to see a continuation back above or back towards 2,700 area. Coming into this area, trying to get back above. Unless it's short-lived and we see a bounce off 2,690 area, I definitely think we're going to start to see this. But we're going to have to use this. We formed this order block. I think we formed it. We're going to have to see it as resistance, come down again, and then we can flip it. We haven't really found it as resistance yet, so I think we're definitely going to have to see it as resistance. But yeah, so in terms of taking what we see on the higher time frame to the lower time frame, what this is going to mean is this slow move back upwards towards 2,695 and then bounce down. But that doubles in as both a bounce off of order block and bounce off of this order block, which then means once you've confirmed it's order block, you can then flip it again. So it's going to be bang, flipped it, resistance again, probably coming back down to here, flip them both, come back to support at probably within 2,700, and then continuation. Again, we found resistance at this area, and this isn't something which is great for us. What do we have here? It's I think, is this a lower range? I don't know why. I don't know why I've had this drawn. We found resistance at it. Yeah, great. I don't think it's not in the particular range of being of difficulty. What is this? I mean, I can't ignore it because we found resistance at it. So, it's not like it's some terrible order block. Jeez, come on. Oh, it was a fair value gap, which I still have drawn for some reason. Right, okay. Yeah, I was wondering why I still have this drawn. I'm going to delete this because we don't need it. Even though, to be fair though, we did wick into it pretty nicely there. But still using this black line, actually, very nicely. This bounce here, this bounce here. Obviously, this kind of continued wick up here. So, yeah, we did expectingly find resistance at 2,750. But, yeah, not to look at what we've already looked at. We're actually kind of on time right now. So looking at it right now, good action. I expect a retracement back upwards towards here. I expect another bounce back downwards from here. Which, again, if we pay attention to what Bitcoin... If Bitcoin does this retracement, comes back to 68.3 and does its bounce, then obviously that's a bad thing for Bitcoin. But it's not necessarily too bad for Ethereum because it means we've used these as resistance. It means we can come back to support, and then it means we can, come back above and use them as support. So not a bad thing necessarily to come up and then come down again. It's a good setup. Yeah, a whole lot of whammy up here though, because we use this rejection block really nicely. You can see, flipped it, great support, and then continued onwards, found resistance at this line, obviously, albeit. But then that market dump was just actually horrible across the board. What I'm going to do, I'm going to open up Solana now, and I am going to... We've surpassed it all. That's nice. Well, let's see what we did. Okay, well, let's see what we did with this rejection block. I mean, this was nice. This followed through. We used this rejection block pretty nicely, I think. Yeah, really nice. Look, boom, look at that midpoint. Midpoint. Finally found our confidence up. Found support at it. Came up. Really good there. Really, really good. Okay, so this is... I'm going to have to draw a new range. This is good. You can see we flipped it. Yeah, found support at the new high, or now low. Bang, support purple line. Support purple line. Support purple line. This is good for Solana. This is really good. This is good. Okay, let me check the chat. And I'm going to need to spend quite a bit more time on Solana. I need to redraw the new range. This is good, though. This is really good. Such a good to stream. Ask for gold, sell buy. Yeah, exactly. I mean, hey, maybe I can get into that sphere of things, but not on this stream, unfortunately. Look at the chat now. I'm just seeing if anything's going on Binance, which I'm not too sure is going on. But I did see some stuff on YouTube, so I will see. Lid Atu Tesfaye. Hopefully I didn't butcher that name. I do apologize. A thumbs up. Thank you. Appreciate it. Shall I buy Mukbag coin? I'll look at it. Well, Mike's already answered your question now, I suppose. Are you talking for, is it a general buy and hold, or is it like a quick, like, oh, can you look at the situation I'm in a long, or not in long, obviously it's a meme coin, but then, I want to quickly buy and sell this. Yeah, Solana's looking good. I'm expecting 185 next, probably at this point. Yeah, I mean, you can see really good. Like this is good. This is good so far. I'd say, break above. Obviously, found our area again. If I draw the next range, I can almost guarantee this is going to be some good area. This might be some sort of equilibrium or not. I don't know though because I haven't drawn it yet. But we've found we've broke above. Perfect. Because again, we found resistance at rejection block. We came back down to support the order block. Came back up. Found support within rejection block, then surpassed it. Really good so far. Found support at the new low, the previous high, and then came back up and then printed above, and then wicked and tested the purple line of support. Again, what is the purple line? It is expansion. So 165 is expansion line for Solana, which basically means if you hold this line and continue above it, it then means you're now in a new range, which is very exciting for us and exciting for me. It then means I can spend a lot more time doing TA on Solana because I have a lot more ranges to draw. Okay, so let me see what range am I on? I don't actually know. I think I'm on the, I don't know. I'm just gonna do math. Look, my handy dandy calculator right now, okay? Because I want to figure out where we are. Actually, let me make sure I'm on the right thing. Yeah, I think this is the right thing. Yeah, here we go. So we're on the 27th, so it should just be. We got the higher time frame, so I can actually draw this. Not that high, maybe. Okay, so where are we? Let's draw it from here. Actually, I can duplicate it instead. That'll probably be a lot easier for us to do. Is that the right fib? There it is. Okay, what range am I on? Let me check. There we go. So that's the new range. Okay. What do we see then with this? It got very close to this high. I haven't actually got any other ranges drawn. Actually, I've got the 81. I might look at the 81 quickly. This is the 27. I now found out. Here we go. Okay. Same thing with the 81 actually as well. What are we doing? Let's see. Well, with the 81, we're actually finding resistance at the expansion line. So what we've done on the 81 is also broke above the high, and then we've found resistance twice, or obviously found resistance at the this high. So obviously, you know, it's looking good for Solana, but not all good just yet on this range on the 81. To bear in mind, but again, not to burst bubbles. I'm not saying this is the end of Solana because we found resistance at this expansion line on this higher range. So pretty good. What I want to do though, I want to do a smaller range within where we are right now. Okay. So let me just figure it out. Okay. It's stupid or whatever. Okay, I'm gonna draw the new range. Also 162 because you know it matches up pretty nicely. So what we're gonna do the 27, but we're gonna do it differently. So what we're gonna do then is one. That's the wrong number. Can't type for my life apparently. And it should just be 171. I just want to draw this new range to see what's going on if we did a lower range, which is looking, you know, obviously pretty good. So. There we go. So let's cascade it upwards a bit. Let's see what's going on. Let's do one more actually, because I know you're talking about 185. I want to see what this lower range is, because sometimes you can look at the lower ranges on the higher thing. So what do we have as this high? 180. Okay. Okay, cool. So we've got them locked. That's in the 9. Obviously goes up in 9s. There we go. So let's look at what we have right now. So what are we doing? So obviously this is a bit more in depth or smaller. Obviously this might be even better to go on the 1 hour. So this is obviously a bit of a different scenario. Obviously we broke above. Equilibrium is going to be, where's equilibrium going to be? It should be here and then to. Well, actually, we've already broken above it. Actually, no, we're in not, well, actually, on the lower end of this range. So we actually didn't need to break above anything. So we're actually just fighting in this new range now. Obviously, you actually found resistance at this expansion line. Came up, found support. What are we doing? So resistance a bit there. Majority of resistance at the 170 mark. But again, this is too small to look at on this higher range. So I'm going to go back on 27, which was our main area we had already. So found resistance at this line, which also is going to be a higher range. So this isn't the 81. It's going to be the range above the 81's equilibrium, you know, at here. So a bit of a wider range. This is also going to be equilibrium here. So I definitely think 178 is going to be pretty decent resistance. This whole area is going to be resistance. In terms of 185, yeah, I mean, again, if we go back to previous price action, we probably see some values back here. If we look, obviously this is going to be a rejection block actually here. Obviously tried to get back above here, didn't. So this is, so looking back on previous TA, it's not looking too bad in terms of our potential. We did have a order block here from what it seems like, which you can see, bang, found it resistance here. So 186 is definitely going to be good resistance, I think, because we do have, remember again, this is where rejection blocks form, this is where order blocks form. So anything in this range is going to be good in terms of our resistance. We actually have an even better one here, which I'm probably going to draw because this one's looking better, which actually will coincide a bit better with what you said, KB, which is actually also lines up with about 185.68. So let me shimmy this across so we can see where we are playing with it, which is actually, it's very small, but you know, whatever. There we go. So let's go back to 4 hour. There we go. Well, that's on the 1 hour. Actually, look on the 4 hour quickly. Yeah, actually nothing quite on the 4 hour there. Let me see. Let me look for breaker blocks now, because actually I don't know where we are. We're getting close to that area. So this is actually breaker block area. Remembering that. So sports bank. This is going to be resistance there. So let's have a look. So this is a bit. It's on the 4 hour, but I reckon it's going to be a bit better. As you can see, this is a relatively decent breaker block. So what can we see? Formed order block, found support, flipped it, and then we flipped it again. And found resistance. So I think if we look at this on the lower time frame, it's gonna be a bit better. Let me change this color as well, like orange or something, because it's not a breaker block. I want to keep these a bit more color coded to be a bit easier. So we found good resistance at the breaker block. There we go. So we finally found our answer. What I like about these ranges, it kind of answers. If you look back on history, they're pretty good when it comes to finding reasons for things. So you can see, okay, formed it. Obviously formed it. Support. Support. Finally flips it to be breaker block, resistance. Obviously the market pumped, and then we continue onwards. You can tell this wasn't normal price action, or not saying it's not normal price action, but we just did a whole straight line all the way upwards. So this is kind of a bit outside of this territory. But when we pay attention to normal price action, where we actually do some relatively normal price action, where we do highs and lows, we can see we respected this nicely for a breaker block. So this is a negative breaker block, where the majority of its strength is in being a resistance line. So we can see we eventually flipped it easily, really accurate resistance there, and then continue onwards. So if we go back to where we are now, it lines up pretty perfectly with what we've seen, which is this really nice wick quickly into here, found support, obviously continued on our venture upwards, breaking up into this new range. So pretty good there, really good. That makes sense. I like trying to find reasons for things, you know. And this is what's nice about these ranges is, like, it gives, obviously, if you've actually got previous like price action, you can actually apply it to things. I love seeing, okay, like, because I drew these ranges, I was trying to find a range which showed something here. I was saying back down here, is like, okay, why do we have this resistance line? Nothing really lined up properly. Nothing was lining up with this line. Obviously, lo and behold, we've now found out it is a resistance here. Also finding, which is probably pretty good, relatively equal candles here, which is also going to be this line here, which you can see we found a resistance line at. So another one here on the opposite side of things. So you can see on this range anyway, breaker block territory, formed order block, found resistance at midline. What does that mean to us then? That means it's going to be breaker block of positivity, because the last candle was negative, which means it's a negative order block, which means it's going to be a positive breaker block. So in theory, what should happen? Obviously, we found resistance at it. We're going to see this surpass, probably a bounce off of here, probably resistance here. Again, this is what I would say, you know, if these ranges were like so strong that you would never be able to get back above them or back below them, whatever, then the price would never move, you know. So eventually we're going to have to see surpassing of order blocks or surpassing of breaker blocks, because we're going to have enough momentum to do that. So if we continue in the market, this kind of lines up with what we've got. Again, Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Solana are seem to kind of stray away from each other. Not exactly. Obviously, we do see pretty commonalities between them, where prices go up or prices go down, or, you know, the strengths of things. But from what it seems like, we do have a bit of a stray for Solana, which is going to be, we're in a new range now. You know, we've found support at this 165 mark, which is really good. So in terms of our future for Solana, I definitely think we're going to definitely see different percentages for Solana because of what we have here with being in a new range. Definitely going to see 173. I think we're going to see that very soon as resistance. The difficulty is the fact that we've got resistance of breaker block. We're going to have resistance on the outer rim, and we're also going to have resistance at 175. So we've got a bit of resistance in this range, you know, in between 171 and 175, or 174 even, 175-ish. We're going to see big resistance, but I'm going to go back to what KB said, though, which was he's looking at about 185 next. I completely agree with this. In terms of in the future, okay, I know obviously coming from 168 or 168.5 to 185 is a bit of a jump. So obviously some of my things are a bit more in detail on the way up. But in terms of a longer term price area to focus on, I definitely would see this being something of great significance. Just looking at this equilibrium usage here, which is pretty good. I'm just trying to see if there's anything being used on the way up or way down. We're probably going to see this be a rejection block as well here. We can see we wick pretty much slightly. You can see this wick pretty much right into rejection block area and come right back down. So this is going to be a pretty good rejection block, I reckon. You can see we wick into it and then come right back down as we touch into rejection block area. So I definitely think this is going to be another area to pay attention to. So if we draw that quickly and make that like a nice blue or something. Why is it so dark? Whatever. So this not only has the midpoint being at $186, nearing $185, we also have the bottom of it being $184. So this is a daily. This is also something to look on the daily as well. So this is also, in terms of looking at the long-term action of Solana, where's the next price going to be? Look, there's no rejection blocks. There's no order blocks here. The only thing I can see on the daily, like, look, this isn't significant. Again, oh yeah, technically it's an order block. It's within equilibrium, but it's within equilibrium. Look at these candles. These are pretty much exactly within this range in between 173 and 178. So yeah, we're going to see resistance there anyway. But the only other thing I can see is this rejection block, because this isn't a proper order block. This is too high. This surpasses rejection blocks completely. This one is like the Goldilocks rejection block, right exactly in within it. So I reckon this range in between 184 and 188 is going to be the range of resistance. But again, last time we had a rejection block was pretty much, you know, right now, which gave us 3-4 bounces. We had 3 bounces and a support. So not, because look, again, not saying this wasn't good, because again, we go into it, you can see it's like a penny off on both. You can see like this was 60 cents, this was 62, the line was 61. So these 2 wicks we saw of resistance on this rejection block were both a penny off. So these are really good. These rejection blocks are really good. So lining this up, I definitely think we go back to where the midpoint is, which is here. I think 186 is going to be a good line. So my rejection block area is pretty much exactly where you have, KB, on the outer rim. So you have 185, mine's at 186. We're also probably going to see some at 184. So yeah, I pretty much agree with that as well on the daily, in terms of what we have. Because again, you know, if we see order blocks on the 1 hour, if we look at the daily, it's not really going to, you know, it's not really going to be too much of a matter. It's quite nice though to see like how well we respect a lot of things on the hard time. You can see flip below this, bang, you know, especially on these latest ones after we saw this flip from this high. You can see we went from this high to have this high, this high, this high, and now we're coming back up again. And we found support this low, which was obviously our high. So I definitely think we're going to see us come into 175, 177 on the daily, come back down to find this breaker block at $170. I think $170 is going to be good support, and then we're going to start to see a comeback upwards. Hopefully, well, not hopefully, we're eventually going to be flipping this, because we're going to be coming up in Solana. I think the next stop after these big things, you know, after we see this equilibrium, is going to be this rejection block at 184, 185. Yeah, I think 175, this range. What I'll do, I'm going to draw some lines. Actually, no. I'll draw prices. Okay, so let's draw some prices, okay, in black, of where we can see these areas. So we have 173 to 177.93. Okay, so we've got one there. That's this range. I can see us have difficulty out. Let's make this a bit smaller. So with one there, I think we're going to have this here in between roughly about 186.11. Actually, we'll do the bottom of it, actually. Which is about... Let's just do a $2 range, actually. So that range, I think we're going to see that range. For there. Where else do we have? And then obviously we'll probably see resistance at the high. But that's pretty much it, though. On the daily. Just looking at the daily. Really hard time frame stuff. I think the main stuff I can see is going to be this range and this up here. And obviously, we're going to see the rejection blocks. We're going to see breaker blocks. We're going to see different things. Probably some fair value gaps formed as we continue onwards. Because, again, actually, remember... Actually, let's see if there's any fair value gaps. Probably not, actually. We've already filled all this. There's nothing here. But looking at the bottom, actually, I forgot we're in a new range now. So, remember, we've got rejection blocks, order blocks, fair value gaps. This is where liquidity voices, where big price action can happen. Breaker block, mitigation block, equilibrium, boom, 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 continue onwards. So, this is where order blocks form, which is going to be support. We actually have a positive order block here, relative, which actually gives good bounce, good bounce, good bounce, continue onwards. So decent there. Decent order block there. So pretty decent. We don't really have any rejection blocks. I don't see. And that's pretty much it, really. I don't really see much else. So yeah, I think it's just us continuing on and finding $170 of support. So I think what I can see next for Solana is us continuing on upwards from $170 to $170 and using a support. I definitely think we're gonna have a bounce off of 172 area. Also, probably maybe 173. I think we could probably come up all the way to 173, find resistance there, at most. I definitely think we're going to see resistance at like the outer rim of the equilibrium. I think we'll come down again. But if we continue how we're going for Solana, and again, Solana's kind of straying off, in terms of, oh, we've come up so far, we're doing this, that, the other, and oh, look at the rest of the market. The rest of the market is going down, this, that, the other. Solana's going up. I always talk about how Solana is like the moody teenager of crypto, the black duck, the ugly duckling, whatever. The lone wolf of the top, not saying every top coin, because the main ones I look at is Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. But out of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana is the one who the majority of the time is the most likely to do its own thing. And in this case, as the market's going down and finding resistance to things, not saying Solana hasn't, but it's been us wicking up, bang, support, bang, 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 bang. Like, we've done good price action all the way upwards. So I don't see it stopping it here. I don't think I can directly apply what I've seen in Ethereum and Bitcoin to Solana due to the fact that the scenario we're in is totally different. We've just got above this range. We've just found support multiple times at expansion, which means we are truly in this new range. So to say that we can't just immediately come towards $173, find support 170, and then come up towards 177, 176, and then do our thing in here. Hey, Solana's its own thing, It's expanding quickly. So yeah, I'm excited. I think my main ranges are 173 to 177, and then this range up here. I think these are what my targets. Coming up to here, generally coming down to find support, coming up to here, finding support here, come up again. So if we look at that, that's our general price action. I reckon. Boom, 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 coming upwards, finding this area at $189, $190 eventually, as we see it so far. Yeah. Excited for that. Punk's looking good. You know what? I'm a bit over 10 o'clock. Well, I'll read the chat quickly there. I'll read the YouTube chat. Oh no! I've just refreshed my balance chat by accident, and I now can't read any messages. So I do apologise. I'm just gonna close it. Actually, I can't bother. I'm gonna check the YouTube chat actually. See what people are saying. Popcat effect. Yep. Money flow chart. I'll look at that in a second. Hello, hope everyone's well. Hope you're doing well. Dunk, hopefully you're doing well. Sorry, I didn't want you a message. My Telegram, I think my Telegram was bugged. Because we were talking actually after to people, because we're doing, obviously I talked about the AMA we're doing on Friday. I was talking to the people to arrange it, and none of my notifications are going through. I haven't gone to Telegram in a while, but I know you sent a message. I'll read it again. I still need to message KB. Oh man, I'm slacking actually. I'm really slacking. I apologize. Yeah, I might look at podcast after the stream, and send some screenshots. I will look at the money flow. Obviously, I have a bit more time to do that. Yeah, I'm pretty optimistic on Solana. As I can see it right now, really good. We're in a new range. Just like the other Bitcoin. Obviously, you know how I feel. If you don't, I spent like 20 minutes on it. Just go back in the stream. I'm gonna end the stream relatively soon anyway. So, yeah. And Ethereum, it's looking alright. What did I say again? I think we're gonna do very similar with what we've done already with Bitcoin. So we'll see how it goes. What have we got with Bitcoin though? With money flow. So let's look at the 4 hour quickly. It's coming up. It's arcing up. It came down from our high period again. Monday. When was the last time I looked at it? Probably coming back into here. So we were coming up, pretty relatively, oscillating upwards. Had pretty big movement downwards, but not really relative price movement downwards. Obviously, we're starting to come up again now, though, which is good. This is good. A good green dot. VWAP's coming up pretty nicely. We've got RSI coming up in the green. This isn't red anymore. This is starting to come up as well. Money flow starting to come up. So if we look at Microsoft as a whole, it's looking pretty positive. It's looking like it's starting to come upwards pretty decently. On the daily, we're actually starting to arc downwards on the daily. Obviously, you can see from the period we start to come up from, we're pretty good upwards. But we're starting to come down again. You know, our sides are pretty oversold very regularly. We've got a bearish divergence. We've got a big red dot there. So in theory, on VWAP's coming down as well. So in theory, based on what we have on Market Cypher and whatnot, we should see a movement downwards. But again, I always say on Market Cypher, it is a directional tool, not a positional tool. We could have the worst scenario we've ever seen in Market Cypher. We could have the really strong support and we won't go down. Or we could see a relatively weak suggestion of downwards movement from Market Cypher B. And if we've got no support blowers, we could see a relatively big movement downwards. And based on what I have personally for Bitcoin, I think we've got a good amount of support where we are right now. Again, not saying we can't flip that, not saying we can't go down. Nothing's ever perfect in trading as a whole. Obviously, if you do TA, yeah, you'll know. But yeah, it's negative on the daily, weekly. Actually, weekly. I want to see. It's coming upwards. It's green, and actually, we also need to bear in mind what we have here, because again, I'm going to refer back to Mike's chart because he's on the Binance chart, which has a bit different in terms of its wicks. I'm on OKX. Don't ask me why. I just started to draw the ranges on OKX, and it just happened. Okay. What I do want to do though. So money flow on the weekly is going up, daily is going down, 4 hours going up for Kishan. I do want to go to his flag because it's a bit different. You can see it's a bit different in terms of its wicks. But regardless, I wanted to see what we have here. If we can hold, obviously we haven't held this line. We haven't truly printed though. Obviously we printed below it. We wicked up, came down. If we find resistance at 67.8 and then come down back towards 66.8, you know, whatnot. Obviously that's pretty bad. But you know, we do have these lines, and again, this is our, apart from maybe here, which is a wicks, this is our first time we've actually truly printed above this line and started to come down. And what I always say about chart patterns and like bull flags and bear flags, I always say what seems to happen quite often is you break out of them and then you start to try to come back down into them or come back to the trend line, and then you bounce and proceed onwards. So I'm not saying that's happening now, I'm not saying it is or isn't, but this is the first time we've truly actually broken above the top trend line. And based on, let's say we just go off this, which again, this is its own little thing here. If we just go off of this and where we are right now, it brings us towards 88k, 90k, which again is the price I have. I have 90k. Obviously, if you know, you know. But we can't ignore the fact we do have this cup and handle, which going from the low-ish to this high we had, and then bringing it over to where we are now, it does bring us towards about 113k, so pretty good. So it would make, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if this is our breakout of this flag towards the higher ends of things. So I guess we will see. Just wanted to reference it quickly. Not saying it's perfect or imperfect, but anyway, whatever. I think that's pretty much it for today, I think. Oh, I will do, actually. I want to check the ideas. I want to see if anyone's speaking. What is this? 230k. Okay. I want to read this. I like to sometimes read these articles. I just want to see what people say, and especially when I see some of these stupid things. And to be fair, you know, I know it's a bit of a clickbait. You know, they'll put these crazy prices, and I'll go, "What? 230k? That's crazy. You know, it's never gonna happen." Let's read it. This, that, the other. Yeah, I just want to see what this is saying quickly. It's yeah, it's pretty stupid. Let's see, 230k. Coming out, I mean, we do have a cup and handle, but yeah, I don't know if it brings us 230k. I don't know what they're. This is the thing. I say this all the time as well. On Tiff I've looked at the articles. I don't know how these people get these prices, because I literally just looked at that cup and handle, and they somehow got 230k. How the hell did they get 230k? I just drew the line. It got 113k. I don't know how people do it. Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing. I just want to see what they're saying. So yeah, this is the current handle. Yeah, so I do agree with them there, but yeah, I don't know how they're getting 230k. I just want to see. Oh, they've done a sneaky little thing there. They've brung someone else's 230k assumption into the current handle. I don't know what his method is, this guy. I don't know. 230k is pretty crazy. I don't think we're gonna see that right now. If you guys are like, oh my god, 230k by the end of the year. What have I done? Oh, I can highlight stuff. That's cool. How do I not do that? I don't matter. If you're thinking we're gonna see 230k by, you know, the end of the year, you know, screw your head on. I think the head's a bit unscrewed. You might want to screw that back on. But if you're saying, oh, I could think 88k, 90k, this or the other, then I've got a lot of confidence to bring that into the area towards 88 to 90k. So I'm excited. I've got pretty positive outlooks on the majority of things in crypto. I'm pretty excited. I guess we will see where we come from here. My next stream is going to be... Oh, you banned Kishan on Binance? You animal. Can't believe it. My next stream is probably going to be... Oh, it's going to be Friday. Normally I'd stream Monday, Friday. I might do Thursday, actually, as a TA stream. Because obviously I did Tuesday. I'm streaming Friday for an AMA. I could do a Thursday stream for TA stream. I don't think we're doing anything tomorrow. I'm doing AMA Friday, and then it's the weekend. But next week, I believe, is when we're doing our Halloween streams. So that's going to be pretty exciting. We still need to do the giveaway because Pretty never answered. Calspre, no surprise there. Never answered for the wallet. So we're doing a members only stream before the Halloween streams to re-give away the wallet for people who are, members. So, we can still actually give it away because she didn't answer. And then once we've done that, we'll do the Halloween streams and then whatnot. So what I will do, I might stream Thursday. I'll keep you guys in touch. I probably will. You know what? I will. I'll stream Thursday. So I'll see you Thursday and I'll see you Friday for the AMA. So obviously get involved on Telegram. I will send some links in there for the game. So if you do want to get involved, you don't have to, obviously. But, if you are coming along to the Friday stream for the AMA and you do want to have a look at the game and you are someone... It's a mobile game as well. It's not like a crazy PC game. If you want to, come, you can join... Apparently, it's like a party-based game. You can, play little... It's basically like Fall Guys. Obviously, a whole different game. But you can join a party and you can play the game. So the plan is you want to get some people involved from the community, from the channel, from you guys, basically, to join the party with me on the stream to show off the game, and we could play, everyone's together. So if you don't want to get involved and you want to, have a little look at the game, just join it, have a little bit of fun, whatever, then do come over to Telegram if you're not in it already. And if you are in there, then you're the best. You already know this. I'll send the links in there, whatnot. We'll play the game. It's gonna be a cool little AMA. Go talk to the guys there, see what they're doing, this, that, the other. Play the game. It's gonna be great. Friday, Thursday, TA stream. Brilliant. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate you all, each and every one of you, for joining. As you guys know, it's getting a bit repetitive now, but you know what I mean. Appreciate you all, each and every one of you. Hopefully you have a great rest of the morning, depending where you are, or evening, obviously time frames and whatnot. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. I will see you Thursday. KB, I'm gonna message you. Dunk, I'm gonna message you again because obviously I didn't actually the message because I have 10 messages, 10 channels, and then there's the 11th one which is off screen, and your message was down there, so I didn't actually see your message until this afternoon. So obviously I will message you again. KB, we need to get in contact. I need to get in contact with you to actually plan this, see what we're gonna do and whatnot, and the stream. So that's gonna be fun. I really can't wait for that, actually, because that's gonna be the first true stream we're gonna have with another community member within the actual live stream, which would be great. Cause and that's one of the main goals we have as well, is to actually get people involved. I think that'd be sick. Obviously, if people do want to do that and not, it'd be great to get some of you guys, even if we just do a talk, or not a talk, something really professional, but just some more either you guys on the streams or off stream within each other. It'd be great. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna talk to you. I'm yapping on the outro. Shout out to you all. I'll see you guys Thursday, and I'll see you guys Friday for the AMA. Thank you all. Appreciate you all. See you guys.